All right, Psalm 20, let's call this one Inheriting According to Our Heart's Desire, which basically makes this chapter seem like it might be a blank check, but in reading it a little more closely, it seems like David is helping us to understand the heart of a person who is praying to our potential. As David's going to start out by saying, may the Lord answer you in the day of trouble. May the name of the God of Jacob protect you. May he send you help from the sanctuary and give you support from Zion. May he remember all your offerings and regard with favor your burnt sacrifices. May he grant you your heart's desire, thus the title of the chapter, and fulfill all your plans. At which point David is going to describe the way in which the saints can collectively cheer for us to do our best when in verse 5 it says, may we shout for joy over your salvation. And skipping down to the end of the verse, may the Lord fulfill all your petitions. Like I said, that sounds like a blank check, but understand it's qualified by, in the beginning of verse 5, not so much David saying, may we shout for joy over you getting a pony when you want a pony, but to the degree you let go of pony wishes and realize that your life moving forward might have been better served by a savings account. Thus, the term salvation is talking about one thing, but it also has a practical application for us, understanding that we might not have wanted ponies, but some of us as men might have wanted ponies, meaning horsepower in the form of cars. There's some flashy things that we can get our hopes set on that have the potential of draining a bank account that we might better use saving for our later years. And so he is saying that there is a wisdom that says, look, we want to cheer for you, not insofar as you're getting whatever your heart desires, but insofar as your heart is beginning to desire the things that produce genuine success. As in moving on towards the end of the chapter, it seems to be clear that David is not praying for us a blank check when he takes a brief pause in verse 6 to say, now I know that the Lord saves, and it's not clear to me at which point in David's life this psalm is being penned, coined, or written, but David reached a point in his life where the things that he had hoped for, and more importantly, the things that God had promised him, actually began to come into view as he goes on toward the end of the chapter to say in verse 7, some trust in chariots and some trust in horses, but we trust in the name of the Lord our God. And the reason why it seems that David is not simply praying us a blank check may be in verse 8 where he says, they collapse and fall, referring back to those who trust in horses and chariots. We don't have many of those around today, but he's basically talking about the symbols of power of the day. And even though the horses and chariots might have faded, trusting in power can produce a false hope that may be a lot more akin to wishing for a pony than we actually realize. And so when David concludes, may God answer us when we call, he realizes it's not a guarantee. Likewise, earlier in the chapter where he says, may we rejoice in your salvation. It seems that David is calling on the hope that the saints will be able to rejoice with us insofar as no matter how much we might have hoped our happiness would come one way, we embrace the degree to which it actually might come another.